What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from the Puff and Ponder podcast, and it's another episode of the Diaries of a Mad Mechanic. Finally, the weather has broken. Our Florida, we had winter this week, and it has, miserable, rainy, drizzling, cold. Northern parts of Florida actually got snow. You've probably seen that on the news. We're on the Gulf Coast here, the Sarasota area. Tampa, if you're more familiar with that. But yeah, we've been like in the 40s and 50s all week, and it's 66 degrees out. It's finally has broken. But I've had a run of people this week, and I haven't done one of these in a minute because I haven't really had much to talk about. Not much to ranting. It's actually been good. I think it's the cold weather. It's kind of actually we've been slow, kind of keeping people away, keeping people from annoying me. So I haven't had much to talk about. But one thing this week that or last couple of days is people not wanting to pay for stuff. I don't understand why I got to pay for that. I don't understand why I got to pay for that. I don't understand why I got to pay for that. I don't think people understand how mechanics get paid. So in the world of mechanics, there's always been like two ways. So there's a flat rate way, we call them flag hours, and then there's a hourly pay and a commission. My company, well, we're split into two divisions: Firestone on one side, Firestone Complete Auto Care, and then Tires Plus. I'm on the Tires Plus side. Firestone has always been traditional flat rate. Tires Plus, that was bought into the company years ago. That was always like an hourly rate. Like you get like $15 an hour, then we'll say like 15% commission on parts and labor. You add those two together, that's $30 an hour. That's about what the average mechanic makes, between $30 and $40 an hour, 30, 35. So I'm not going to tell you where I'm at on that scale. So we recently switched over on the Tires Plus side to the flat rate side. So it kind of changes the way we do things a little bit differently. So like on the Tires Plus side, when you'd come in and you need something done, like there was a lot of things that were free and no charge because we were still making an hourly wage. So we kind of had to do, whatever. But then on a flat rate side, we only get paid when the business gets paid. Not always the case, but so everything has billable hours attached to it. Now there are things like we do a free code scan, like we'll check out your check engine light. Now the company does pay me like 0.2 of an hour to check that. So 1/10 of an hour is 6 minutes. So everything is going to be minimum 1/10 of an hour, so like, because that's how long it takes me to walk out to your car, to get in your car, pull it in, get my information on the car. That's about 6 minutes. So you're paying me at least 6 minutes, 1/10 of 1 hour. So that's when people's like, hey, on a code scan, I'm gonna get 0.2, so that gets me, checking out, your battery, things like that for the courtesy check, and then, part of it, and then the 10th of actually plugging in the code reader and then getting those codes. And people will be like, well, can't you just take a look at it? And no, I cannot. I got other cars, other paying cars. If you want a diagnostic, it's 1.1 hours for a diagnosis. Well, that's what the diagnostic fee is. It pays me 1.1 hours. If I find an issue right away, sometimes I'll let them know. I'm like, hey, you can go ahead and knock that down, like cut that in half, so, be 0.5 hours, 0.6 hours. So that's not a big deal. We do that quite a bit. But it's a bunch of little things when like putting your spare tire away after you come in for like a flat repair. I get paid 0.2 for that. Most of the time they'll eat that for the customer. Like, oh, we'll put your tire away at no charge. Some places charge that. Oh, it's 0.2. Oh, why am I paying? Yeah, the guy did. It has nothing to do with your flat repair. We could raise the rates of the flat repair to include putting the spare away. But then some tires, they come in, like we find the flat repair, when we're doing an oil change or brakes or something, And so it's not fair to those people to raise their rates because we're not putting a spare away. We're just taking it off and putting it back on. So there's so many things like that. Hey, can you put my own wiper blades on? No, I get paid 2 tenths to do that, and it's 12 minutes. Even though sometimes it doesn't take that. Most of the time, it doesn't take that long. Can you put in my own air filter? Nope, 2 tenths. That's what I get paid. I base everything off of the tenth. So like it's whatever. So a lot of guys, will just be like, hey, I need like 4 tenths for that, or give me like a half an hour. I actually figure out how many 6 minutes it's going to take me to do something, and that's how I bill the tickets out per 6 minutes. But yeah, so that's how we get paid in the automotive industry, is flag hours. Then each job calls for, like, we don't make up, like there are certain times where I say I need 2 tenths. There are certain jobs I don't get. Like I just did a big job. I did an air filter, paid 2 tenths, a cabin air filter, paid 3 tenths, an oil change, paid 4 tenths, front brakes paid 1 hour even, rear brakes paid 1.2 hours, that was a good job because both of those were good jobs because I got them done like really quickly. It probably only took me 35 minutes to do each one. But there are certain jobs out there that it takes longer than that, and we don't get to charge the customer any more money if it takes us longer than what the manufacturer says it should. Sometimes the manufacturer's wrong. Sometimes they'll come out and be like, oh, hey, I need this job done. I'm like, no, I'll pass. Oh, why is that? It only pays 1.2, and you know damn well that's a 3-hour job. It cannot be done in that time. So instead of just, I just turn the job down. Like I'm not doing it, unless the company, sometimes the boss will come out, and there are very few jobs like that. They're like, hey, I know this takes more. I'm going to pay you the 3. We're only billing the customer the 1.2 or 1.4. And I'm like, all right, okay, I'll do it because I'm getting paid now. So, but that's it. Everything has a billable hour to it. And we've talked about this before. When you're going in to get your car worked on, you're going to get an estimate and you're going to see all of those numbers. 0.2. By law, it has to be on there. 0.1, 1.2. And you want to pay attention about the overlap. I think we've talked about this on this channel. I know we've talked about the overlap on the on my Tech Tip Sunday videos. There are certain jobs that there is overlap. Like if that customer came in wanting like brakes and shocks, 2 completely different things, but you got to take the tire off. You got to take the tire off to do the brakes. So that tire, and you got to take the tire off to do the shocks. So you should ask for a discount. Like, hey, can I get a 1/10 discount since he's already got the tire off? Because you got to take it off. And there are so many things like that. Doing a tune-up, spark plugs on a 4-cylinder, like I did that earlier this morning, and to do spark plugs, on it. So I gave them a labor overlap because the spark plug doesn't have to come out to do the valve cover gaskets, but I got to get the engine cover off, and I got to pull the coil packs out. So there's a lot of stuff I got to get out to remove that valve cover, and then the spark plugs are right there. They don't pull themselves out. So we give the customer a really good break on that job because there's overlap on there. So if you're ever reading your ticket and there's like a bunch of stuff, especially a bunch of under the hood stuff, ask, is there any labor overlap on this? Will you be doing one thing and most of the time, not most, sometimes they'll be like, oh, let me go check on that, and then they know there is, and they're just trying to bill you for the in full on each job. They'll come back, yeah, the technician said that this job and this job had a little bit of overlap, so we can do that. And I've said it before, if you leave any place, automotive repair shop, and you don't have a discount on that ticket, that's your fault. Always ask for a discount. Say I'm leaving. If you can do like 10%, 5%, they'll always do 5%. 5%, we do that all day long. All day, every ticket, every customer. 7%, yeah, probably. 10%, You might have to ask real hard on that one, but we usually can swing 10%. All right, cats and kittens, running out of time. Peace.